How many of you have used the vending machine before? Awesome. So that's what I'm here to explain, how the vending machine works. It's something in the blockchain is referred to as a smart contract. It's not actually smart, it just works like a vending machine. And I'm going to describe what's the benefit of having that digitized and for any industry to benefit from that, no matter what you do, including some of the DNA stuff and research that you work on. The industry is expected to be very disruptive in the financial sector, but it's also in other sectors as well. Currently, you can buy the entire planet for $1,400 trillion. So with the blockchain, we might be able to add another 400 trillion. What's that? No biggies. Intro, who am I and what do I do? I think we went through a quick intro here, but it's basically Privacy Shell is a startup factory. We have about 23 startups that we represent, and we're more like the mini co-founders, many of those startups, and many of them, they're in the health tech, and one of them we're going to talk about shortly after this with Adam Cole. It's called Health Chain RX, which is one company I'm extremely excited about. So you've heard of the blockchain. I saw many votes. Some of you haven't. The blockchain, many people, they call it distributed ledger technology. How many of you have heard of that? Show of hands. Okay, cool, not a lot. Fantastic, because it's not actually distributed ledger technology. So whatever you heard, erase that. It's actually replicated ledger technology. That's what's out there. There's a lot of innovation that we're noticing over the next a few months that will truly introduce like distributed technology into the blockchain. Now there's distributed and there's decentralized, and that's super confusing. Decentralized is more like a security model. So if you want something to be super secure, you can put it behind like firewall or whatnot, but if the people that you're trusting to go behind that firewall may not necessarily be trustworthy, like any organization on the planet, including NSA or whatnot, you could put things in a way that they're a little bit more cryptographically secured in a decentralized way. They might seem to be publicly available to everybody on the planet, but their representation of those that are available, and that's something that the blockchain can provide. So decentralization is security, distributed is for computations, so we can reduce the cost of transaction. Those are a couple of illustrations of distributed and decentralized and centralized. All the way to the left, this is how the internet is today. To the left, you go to a server, it's Facebook. Facebook gets hacked, you get all the information. We're moving to something in the middle, like the blockchain today. It's decentralized, but it's not distributed, and we're getting there by the end of this year. So whoever hasn't heard of blockchain will hear more and more about it as the time comes, because it's going to be extremely disruptive, especially what's going to happen over the next few months. A lot of the fluff is going to disappear, a lot of the stuff that they're not real, they're just trying to steal from people or not, they're just going to have a little shake up in the system, and then it will fall down, and then all the real stuff will make it through. Any system that you reduce the friction, and that's universal rule, that's not just for the technology, this is pretty much any organism in this universe. You reduce friction, you get more movement, and we hope that this is going to be in every industry, including the health sector. If you reduce the friction of having to have an audit trail for every single thing that somebody did, and where's your data is being stored, and if the DNA sequence is being protected from privacy, is it not, and so on and so forth. Like all of this stuff can be secured in a way that reduces that friction. And by reducing the friction, you can do a lot more than what you do today. So the power of decentralization, the current ledger-based blockchain. How many of you have heard of Bitcoin? Fantastic. So Bitcoin is one of the blockchains out there. Okay, so Bitcoin is just specific for currency. You can have blockchain for many other reasons like value exchange. the blockchain itself, if we're building out of this planet Earth one organism, and when I say if, you might call me crazy, but we are building one organism on this planet Earth. So this organism's heart would be more like a ledger-based blockchain. It's pumping. It's got like, 2, 3 times per second, 4 times, maybe 4, 5. But then alveolar capillary protocol. How many of you have heard of that? Okay, cool. So this protocol is responsible for about 9 septillion exchanges in your lungs per second. The oxygen and the carbon dioxide. And that happens in a way that it's totally decentralized, and this is super secure. If not for that, you won't be able to actually get the oxygen going. So if each and every one of those alveoli is going to check with the brain every time it's going to do an exchange, you'll get so tired. You probably won't be able to breathe anymore. So that's something that can simulate of how the decentralization can work. They have a certain function, they do it, and they do it right every single time. And you cannot attack them. The only way you can attack a system like this, your lungs, to make them do something foolish, is you inject carbon monoxide, for example. And it might confuse them, and then take them and inject them in there. But then you kill the entire organism. Okay? So that's very similar to how the blockchain works. You can either kill the whole system, or the whole system would work. And we call that Byzantine fault tolerance. So decentralization and a small scale inside blockchain, a future blockchain, looks like this. This is basically how one atomic structure would look in the blockchain, and this is the atomic structure here. The others are like actually mirroring of that structure across the globe. That structure can be a file. That file is, we call it in the Torah protocol, note. So this note can have any representation that you'd want it to be. There, at any given time, there's about 32 mirroring of that representation across the planet. If something disastrous happens, so let's say that representation is, it's your house is in that file, or it's your dollar, or it's your euro, whatever that represents. Some major catastrophe, let's say some atomic bomb, or whatever it is that you can imagine. This is what it does. You still can have it. You can have, if again the aliens attack the planet and then took some people, it still works. So that's another power of the decentralization that the blockchain can bring to humanity, and it's above and beyond fault tolerance. It's Byzantine fault tolerance. So if there's attackers, malicious users that they are part of the system, they will not be able to game the system unless they game the entire system. And we're bringing this to AI, especially with autonomous vehicles. You don't want the autonomous vehicles attacker to be an insider dude who's trying to actually make some changes in what cars would do if it trains after October 20th, and they all turn left and you have a major catastrophe. So providing blockchain security to AI systems can prevent that from happening, but it can also help with a lot of health tech as well. So crypto anything, security first. This is something that if you were to think of file ownership, currently you've all heard of HTTP, so I'm not going to ask for a show of hands. This is like, when you go to the internet, put an HTTP. That's a protocol that came to exist in 1989. Before that, there was FTP for about 14, 15 years. The FTP enabled a lot of people to talk about the World Wide Web that we have today, but it did not enable the World Wide Web until HTTP came along. HTTP came and allowed any one of you to take that file that you have on your system and spread it across the planet. You can send it to 1 million people. And you can still do that. But there's some protocol that are being developed right now that they're being released, or they were released a couple months ago in private, but they will be released to the public, is the ability for you to send the ownership of that file from you to someone else anywhere in the world. And at any given time, there's only one owner of that file. You could have done that 1 million years ago if there's an intermediary. You could have done it today if there's like a government or a bank or somebody saying it's like, yes, you own this house. Yes, you own this car. Yes, you own this money. This is how much money you have in your bank account. But doing that without any intermediary is not possible until like 3 months ago. Not until actually 10 years ago when the blockchain came to exist with a ledger. But doing it without a ledger and without an intermediary wasn't possible until 3 months ago. So this is something that's coming to exist, and it's basically the structure of it. It would be a binary trees that is actually ensuring every single thing around the security. That binary tree has about 256 levels in its structure, and it can have representations for more than the estimated atoms in this universe. A lot more. We can have in this tree 1 quadrillion trillion universes. Okay, so that is used in actually identifying elements. Any computer in your pocket can actually navigate this tree very quickly, but nobody ever need to build it. So the file gets verified by 32 nodes every time securely. When it's traveling from one place to another, it doesn't really need to be verified by 2 billion devices that exist across the planet. Now that takes me to the next thing that I would like to talk about. I'm going to skip the threats and opportunities here, but it's what is the blockchain and what can you use it for healthcare, sharing of patients' encrypted information, for example. So if you think of blockchain, it's like, oh, it's a public blockchain. I'm not going to put the information of my patients in a public blockchain. You know, this is going to be viewed by everybody. But in reality, privacy can be more insured in a public blockchain than it can be insured in any private database, in any private blockchain. And that's not my words only, that's the words of the top cryptographers on the planet. I'm going to show you how the blockchain works, and I'm hoping that by the time you leave this room, you'll all be convinced that it does that, and you'll be also able to build that if you want to, at least in your mind, or at least have technologies of how to do it using public blockchains, okay? So, what is the blockchain that's simplified? This may look complicated now, by the time you leave the room, and you're going to feel that it's actually super simplified. Before we get into the details of that, I need to explain something that is extremely important in the blockchain. It's called hash, okay? So the hash is not like, you know, the hashtag that you use. That's not it. It's a different hash. This isn't the hash that you would buy from Morocco or, I don't know, somewhere. Okay, so this hash is the representation of anything digital. You've all used the internet, you've all used the web, and you know that almost anything you can think of can have digital representation. A picture, a movie, a file, a ledger, whatever you can think of. Behind the scenes, it's ones and zeros, correct? All right. Any file, any size file, when you hash it, it gives you either 32 or 64 characters. Let's imagine 64 characters in this example, the specific hash function. Those 64 characters that they exist here is specific and unique to that file. If you have those characters, you cannot generate the file, no matter how hard you try. If you get quantum computers, the quantum computer is going to give you trillion other files, but not necessarily the file that you initially put together to create this one, which might look like a ledger, might be meaningful to you. So this gives you the ability to take, let's say, patient's data, your own ID identification, your own secret picture, whatever, hash it, and it gives you those numbers, okay? Now imagine you have those numbers, and you can write them on a, you know, engrave them on a piece of rock. And everybody knows that this piece of rock left the planet Earth towards the moon, April 30th. They've seen it on TV, and it's coming back in July. When it comes back in July, you can tell everyone and prove it to everybody on the planet that you had this file before April 30th, because you can show them the file, you can hash the file, and generate the exact same hash. No one's going to be able to generate that hash. When they look at the hash, they know that it's something. They don't know how it was created. You're the only one who can show that you can create it. So that is extremely important in almost anything that you hear from now to the next 20 years, if anything that is the blockchain. The blockchain evolution/revolution, disruption, whatever you want to call it, is going to be slightly bigger than what the internet did to humanity. So you are going to face that. understanding this element of hash is so important and crucial. This understanding like URL. Imagine before the days of the internet, you tell somebody URL address. Like, what address is it? What next to what street? Is it next to intersection? Street intersection, please. Like, no. I'm giving you web address. This is equivalent to that. This is so important, okay? Anything that you can think of, you can hash it. It gives you representation that is unique to that element. And no one can generate that hash. That gives you a lot of power. Now, how does it work in the blockchain? Okay, you can do this. You're not going to send a rock to the moon. You're going to do some sort of transaction and hash it. You're going to have a file that you're trying to secure. And you're going to do the same. And you're going to do the same. And, you know, over any course of, let's say, 5 or 10 seconds, a lot of people are going to be doing something that they need. Take 2 hashes, put them together. What do you get? Also, digital structure. If you concatenate them, hash them again, you get only one set of record, 64. And they do the same, they do the same, they do the same. Now, with one level up, you also put them together, you hash them, keep going up, and this is called Merkle tree. When you finish everybody's transaction, everybody's files that they need to do in this time, that's called temporal coupling, okay? You get to something on the top that is called Merkle root. If any one of you changes slightly little thing in your file, put in a comma, it changes everything that went up. So once you put it in, it's there for life. Makes it up to the root, and that root is taken for the next block, and every time people in the future that are going to do those concat, they're going to add that root to it, every one of them, which means that if something was put 30 seconds ago, it cannot be changed ever, because it's going to impact everything, all the data that you have, everybody's data from this point on. So that's explaining what the blockchain, this is it. Whatever you hear out there complicating the blockchain more than that, it's just either fluff or just trying to confuse you, trying to sell you something. This is the blockchain. It's not more complicated than that. What you can build on top of it, sure, you can build a lot of complicated stuff, you can do a lot of cool stuff. You can have, think of, for example, you want DNA data to be super secure, yet you want it to be available in a way that people can actually match those DNAs. You take it, you hash it. That hash, anybody who can generate the exact same hash has that DNA. So now you're able, that's called zero knowledge proof. So they're able to know that 2 are matching without knowing what the original one. So you feel that like you have your DNA data representation there, yet no one can know what it is unless they have it. So that's kind of cool. And you can do that for grouping, because sometimes it's not the actual DNA itself, it's level above, depending if it's like the haplogroup or whatever you can try to use to group folks without having to give a lot of information. So next here, I'm going to let Adam Cole speak about some specific use case that he's using in health tech. It's called Health Chain RX. I'm hoping you enjoyed this session. If you have any questions, you can always reach me at t@privacyshell.com. And that's my phone number. You can call me anytime. I will not answer. but email, I always answer. Anytime, any questions about blockchains, I'm super happy to answer. And thank you.